Hello and welcome back to another episode of Urban Informatics Over Coffee. I am your host Ellen, and today we'll be looking at VicPlan and all the good things you can do in VicPlan. But before we dive into that, don't forget your coffee. It's a necessity. You can pause the video right now and go grab your coffee. I don't mind, I'll wait. So the state government of Victoria has a whole suite of interactive mapping tools, as they call them. Some of this information overlaps, like MapShare, VicPlan, Lassie, but the maps are really geared towards certain disciplines. So VicPlan is for planners specifically, and like Lassie are for people in the land sphere of the world. So if we press on this link here, or you can just Google VicPlan, it'll be the first option. This is what you are faced with. So if you're coming in here and you want to check what kind of planning provisions are for your project, you can go up here and upload a KML file, for example, or a shape, whatever you have that has to be one of these. Choose your file, and if I load my study area, open, press upload, and then proceed, you can play around with your shape style, but I don't usually bother. And you can load your spatial information directly into VicPlan. It won't stay here if you refresh. It's really just a temporary checking what's up. Some couple of hints and tricks on this home tab. You can turn all your zones on or off. You can also turn all your overlays on or off rather than going in and individually ticking them all on or off. From this tab as well, you can export an image. So if I just create an image of what you're looking at, press view image, it'll take you to a new tab, and then you can download it from here, which is great for photoshopping or putting into documents or whatever else. But make sure to do all your editing before you do that. So we'll just exit out of there and out of there again. So now if we go into the map browser and then into the layer list, this is where all your information lives. It isn't very helpful, this shape, so you can make it more transparent with this slider tool, or you can just tick it on or off as well. So if I wanted to see all the different zones that happen to be within my study area, you can see they're already ticked on, but they're not very visible. We can just drag up the transparency and you can see all the zones. So within my study area, I have
PUZ2, PPRZ, UFZ, C1Z, GC1, and GRZ5.
So it's very quick to see easily how many zones are in your area without having to remember exactly what your study area looks like. Also, if I press on this PUZ2 parcel, you can see all my options for a selection have come up here. So if I'm interested in looking at what the planning zone is, these two links here used to take you to different places, but I found recently they're actually the same link and they take you to the same place. So in this case, it would take you to the Whittlesea planning scheme. So if I press on LPP ordinance, you can see it takes me directly to Schedule 5 of the GRZ, which is very convenient when you want to know exactly, what are the objectives of the area, what do I need a permit for, all that jazz. So I'll close out of that and we'll go back again. You can also, if I press on the same property, you can select parcel, and this will generate a planning property report. So if we press that link, it will generate all the relevant information for that parcel in one document that you can download. So you've got your SPI, council, your address, you even got your Melway reference, and then it goes through all the zones and overlays and any other provisions applicable, whether or not you can see them in the map at the time you press this report. You can only download these one parcel or one property at a time, which is very inconvenient if you wanted all of these for, say, the study area. And it's just a tedious process of going through and downloading them one at a time. I have no hints or tricks for you on that one. So back in the layer list, you can make invisible each individual layer as you please in the zones. In the overlays as well, they're all turned off at the moment. I've only got a few selected, but you can see the idea. similar to how the zones operate. You can do that with the overlays. So we'll turn off those at the moment. Some other key things is VicPlan will show you if there's any heritage register items, which there are, or heritage inventory, or another big one is the area of Aboriginal cultural heritage sensitivity. And then another perk under heritage is that you can see your Aboriginal registered parties, which can be handy information as well if you wanted to engage them over a development in their area. Of course, being Victoria, we're very prone to bushfire. You've got your BMO layer here, which is also in the overlays layer, and you've also got the BPA, which covers almost the entire state, as you can see. Under the transport drop-down, you can see you have some basic transport information as well, not too in-depth though, compared to what you can get in other softwares. Under properties, where your land information is in terms of properties and parcels, as well as Crown land, which can be handy information. Surely there's Crown land somewhere. Or maybe my computer's being very slow. Oh wait, no, yeah. Grey is Crown land, and also pink in this case is also Crown land in the form of a road. And another really helpful one is local government area boundaries. So you can see the Council of Whittlesea is the responsible authority for within their boundary. So we know our study area is 100% within the boundary of one council. Contour, they have some very basic contour information, which you can see here if I turn off my study area and maybe change my map to grayscale. Some very basic contour at different scales. You can pick from, these 5 different map types, or you can have no base map at all. And in this case, we're seeing nothing because nothing is ticked. If I turn on my study area, just got my study area. If I turn on the zones, then I can just see the zones with no interruption underneath the layer. Something annoying about VicPlan is their scales. So you can't have whatever scale you want. You have to use their default ones. As you can see, it's going in between 2,257 and 4,514. It's just what it is. VicPlan has some basic tools as well, of course. You can measure. That is a very useful measurement I just took, but you get the idea. You can measure area. Why you would ever measure something like this, I don't know. Look. There we go. So you can add all this information on top of VicPlan, but again, remember, it won't save if you refresh VicPlan. So if I refresh now, you can see that everything is gone. The last thing I would mention about VicPlan, it has lots of great spatial information in it. However, you cannot download spatial information from it. You can export those images, like I said, but in order to get this information, say you wanted all the zoning in Victoria as a spatial file, you would have to go to the state government's DataVic website to get that information. In theory, DataVic has all the back of house data that supports all their interactive mapping tools, as well as anything else that they have spatial information for that's free to the public. So if I type in zone and search, it's very broad, it'll probably give me lots of results. Yes, you can get, for example, those individual zones, so you can download just agricultural zones. However, this one looks like it would be all zones within Victoria. The data is there, you can get it in all these types of files. You just can't get it directly through VicPlan. You need to search what you want for in DataVic and get it that way. But as you can see, VicPlan is a one-stop shop for all your planning and land needs. So that's all. That's my quick overview of all the wonders of VicPlan. I hope you enjoyed sitting back and watching and sitting back sipping your coffee, and I will see you in the next video coming up very shortly.